We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
So you're telling me you expect to get that for free for the rest of your life?
Yeah, you have to build up enough points, but once it's kind of like your Social Security. Once you do 40 quarters, then you qualify for Social Security. So
Well, it
I think,
sounds a little sketchy to me.
well, that's what the memo said. I got a
All right.
text and it said that's what it was going to do. So I can only believe that.
All right.
All right. Hey, welcome back. Guess what, folks? This is episode 150 of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. And that's what they say in the biz, 150 in the can. In the can. And we are carrying on. Tonight's a special episode of the Dave and Woody Summer Tour. What is it called? One Sigma Chi chapter at a
No,
time.
one chapter at a time.
Whatever. One chapter at a time. And if you aren't familiar with this, you need to catch up with us. Sigma Chi, Woody and I are Sigma Chi's, and this young man that's going to join us in just a second, Hayden, he's a Sigma Chi. Did we need to challenge him, by the way?
Too late.
Oh, yeah. All right. Anyway, so Sigma Chi National put out a list that I picked up off of LinkedIn a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about the top 20 or top 100 chapters that were SIG, life loyal SIGs. And so life loyal Sigma Chi are alumni status. So once you quit being an active, become alumni, then there's an encouragement throughout your Sigma Chi life to be an alumni and be active. And so life loyal SIG is that designation. And so we've already spoken to, we're on the top 5 of this list. So the first number one we spoke to was a fellow by the name of Preston Bunch. He's the consul of the Delta Delta chapter over at Purdue, the other number 1 chapter. Hugh Steinman, the consul at Theta Eta, Missouri S&T. Believe it or not, they were number 2 in the list. Tulsa, we haven't had a chance to talk to folks at Tulsa yet. We're going to catch up with them. Number 4 was Will Short, consul at Eta Iota, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University at Daytona Beach. And
just up the road from our chapter.
That's right. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, a special guest joining us from the driver's seat, as they say, of his chapter, Hayden Surratt, Delta Rho, consul at Delta Rho at Bradley University, located in Peoria, Illinois, right in the dead center of the state, I think, isn't it?
Smack dab in the middle, right on the Illinois.
Huh. Well, Hayden, welcome. We had some fun as life gives us challenges. Oftentimes, I always say to my clients, life happens. And so between, I don't know what the details are, but Hayden had a situation that popped up last week. And then Woody, maybe we'll talk about later on, had an issue that he had to travel over the weekend. So we just said, you know what? We're not that important. I mean, we're important, but we're not that important. So we can push it off a week. And Hayden joins us today from the front seat of his car. And I'm going to let him tell his story. But why are you in the car, Hayden, versus being somewhere?
Well, given the fact that that I am the worthy consul of this chapter, I figured I had the magic key to get inside the chapter house. Unfortunately, over the summer interim, they have changed the locks. I was hoping to join this call from my office, but I'll take it from the driver's seat.
Are you sure you're still consul?
I am. This would be my second year. Going into my second year.
Well, then we'll have to get into that, but I'm hoping we see something occur in the background, even though you've blurred it. That could make it more interesting.
Can you take that shot of the side door again to prove that that's where you are, real quick?
Absolutely.
The back door.
Our house management president.
Go.
It's a little blurry, but
that's fine.
This will beat the chapter house.
Okay.
The back of their house looks nicer than the front of our old chapter house, Dave.
Well, that goes a long way. So I mean,
but you didn't happen to get that door from across the street. No, it's an inside joke. But
okay.
All right. Well, you kind of touched on it. One of our questions that we like to ask the consul is, well, first of all, what year are you in? What year are you going into at school?
I am going into my junior year.
Wow. And what is, I feel like I'm trying to pick you up here. What's your major, man?
Kind of an interesting one for the fraternity, just the Greek life in general. Nursing. I'm going to get my bachelor's in nursing science.
All right. My wife is a BSCT for 30-something years now. So
nice.
Yep.
And does Bradley have a nursing program that you jump on, you follow all the way through?
Yep, they have a direct admission nursing program, so they kind of chug us along for all 4 years.
Well, that's good because I always hate these universities that say come spend money in our place for 2 years and then maybe we'll take you in the major you want.
Yeah.
So that's nice. They have
Mhm.
that.
Now, not to dwell on this too much, but do you have maybe a family member that's in the medical profession that kind of
Yeah.
steered you this way?
They didn't have a huge influence on my decision, but definitely kind of helped me solidify it. But my grandmother, she was a nurse for 50 odd years, did it for her whole life.
Wow. Now, do
Yeah.
you have any ambitions to maybe further it to a nurse practitioner or anything of that nature?
My goal, post grad, is a certified registered nurse anesthetist.
Ah, that is
Yeah.
yes, that's a good one.
So
Good
you're
luck.
going to take your passing gas skills and take them to the professional level?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Except through an IV, Dave. That's
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, anesthesiologist is the guy that passed gas. Okay. All right. Well, that's awesome. You're
Yeah.
our first consul, soon to be nurse. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So tell us about this journey. You said you're going into your second year about being consul. How'd that happen? So you must have been
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, exactly. So our elections for these larger positions, they kind of take place over the academic year. A lot of other chapters, I know they kind of do their spring, fall, but we do academic. And yeah,
Okay.
I had the opportunity, and I was nominated in the spring of my freshman year to take on the role of consul. And I said, why not? I had high ambitions and took after it, and here I am now. I got renominated at the end of last spring, and doing it again.
Well, good
So,
luck, man.
so you weren't another chapter officer prior to your first office as consul?
In the spring of my freshman year, I was our chapter scholarship chair, so just kind of monitoring and kind of academic coaching.
Okay.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
You must be a natural born leader. I mean, the people that we've seen, I don't know if you caught the interview this past episode, but our chapter, Eta Pi chapter, was fortunate enough to have 7 Order of Constantine inductees, 2
Wow.
of which Woody and I were active in the chapter. And one of them's my big brother, but we got to see those guys. They were both consuls and other officers as well in the chapter. And it's just natural leadership comes from those. Woody and I were really kind of the
I was going to say, Dave, once again, I feel like possibly I may have wasted 4 years of my life in college.
I don't think so. Woody, you got to sit next to me the whole time. What are you talking about?
That's right. That's right. Oh, yeah. That makes it all better now.
All right. Well, it's not really about us just yet. It's really about this guy. Okay. So Hayden, where do you hail from? Hayden, where are you from?
I am from Springfield, Illinois, so just about an hour and a half away from Peoria. About an hour and a half from St. Louis as well.
Is that where the Simpsons live?
That is where the TV shows kind of originated from, and yeah.
I was half joking, but now there's some validity to that.
What's that song?
Sure.
Springfield. It's a hell of a town or something like that.
Right.
Now, does Peoria or Bradley live in the shadows? You got Chicago to your north and St. Louis, I guess, southwest. Is there, like we mentioned earlier in our chapter, Eta Pi in Orlando at UCF, we commingled with the guys over at Embry-Riddle quite a bit, Daytona Beach. Do you have a relationship with another chapter nearby, or is that just kind of isolated in Peoria?
Yeah, no. Illinois State University is just 45 minutes down the road in Bloomington. We're in pretty close relations with their chapter. We'll see them every once in a while, just out and about. Every once in a while, handful of our guys will head on over there just for a good time. But Super Bowl seasons, really, whenever we reconnect, they'll load up. They'll head on over to our chapter house, and we'll have a giant watch party together.
Now, why did we ever think of things like this, Dave? We did it for philanthropic reasons. They're doing it for good reasons,
Yeah, that's what it was. We were mired in those can drives and clothing drives that we were always doing.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about Delta Rho for a minute here. Delta Rho chapter, I'm going to read some cliff notes real quick. at Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois, has a rich, storied presence on campus. We already saw the beautiful chapter house, at least the back door.
Yeah.
Here are some of the most fascinating facts what we dug up. And so, can you shed some light on, Sigma Chi, our chapter? What was our chapter? Sigma. I don't know. There's always, what do they call that?
A pre-ordination name.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's an official name for that, but
Yeah.
what was it known before it became a Sigma Chi chapter? Do you know?
Yeah, so our chapter, Sigma Chi was installed into a local fraternity named Sigma Phi. So the name didn't change a whole lot.
No, just one letter. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sweet. They just had to put a piece of tape over the P and put a C. I didn't pick up on that till you said that.
Uh-huh. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Sigma Chi history, we were known, Sigma Chi, the national fraternity, we were known as Sigma Phi before our original ritual book was taken by another local fraternity. They just had to do start with a clean slate.
Oh.
Wait a minute. You're saying from a national standpoint, we were known as something else?
No.
Or you're saying your chapter?
No, from a national standpoint.
Okay, we can't speak to that because we really don't know.
May or may not know something about that.
I think he's just trying to show off is what he's doing. But okay, sure, that we'll have to look that up. We probably got some Sigma Chi's like who comes to mind there, Woody? Pat Kelly's probably screaming at the radio already, so who knows? Okay, cool fact here. So I guess Bradley University was at one time known as Bradley Polytechnic, which I made in the pre-show comments. A lot of schools started that way. UCF was FTU, Florida Technological University. And then, of course, as things grow from June 17, 1911, things change. How big a town is Peoria? Do you have any idea how many people live there?
I'd say close to, if not more, 100,000.
So it's not like Chicago, or it's a Midwestern.
No, yeah.
Is it like really pure Midwestern, really nice people? Everyone seems to be kind, courteous, that kind of thing?
Yes, very much so. Surrounded by cornfields and about that.
Okay. All right. So apparently the original fraternity motto under Sigma Phi was Facta non Verba. I'll share a little bit of my previous Latin experience in a moment, but what does that mean to you?
To me, and to my understanding, that is deeds, not words. That is what that means. And I feel like that honestly closely resides to a lot of the characteristics we preach in Sigma Chi.
Yeah, actions are, say more than words, right? So
Who was the guy we always used to blame? That was it George? When in the chapter we said let George do it. What was that story that when you always had that moment when the brothers were slacking, not doing they weren't lifting the heavy lift, and you always had to come in and tell us? It was a story about George. Do you remember that?
Well,
I can't remember that.
Well, I'm going to catch you off guard here, Hayden, but apparently you have an alumni that's a ghost in your fraternity house. Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of that.
Uh-huh. All right. So, do trophies disappear from the trophy case?
Not that I know of. We have switched site around the year of I think it was 2007.
All right, so maybe this is a story from that time. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
See, I should have prepped with that story and said I threw him under the bus. But
you going to elaborate? You got me hanging here.
It just says active members often joke that there's a ghost in the house, and the gag or the joke is that trophies disappear occasionally from the trophy case, and they blame it on a 1950s alumnus. And so, Hayden, maybe you could restart that tradition in the new house by making trophies disappear.
Yeah, maybe that could be the ghost.
Maybe that's why they locked him out, because they caught him on the camera.
Taking trophies.
I don't know. That sounds crazy. All right, moving along. We want to cover some of these kind of fun facts here. I guess after 38 years, the 1949 pivot. That sounds like a party theme. What was the 1949 pivot? Do you remember that?
That is when Sigma Chi was installed into the local fraternity. That's whenever the first I don't know what you'd call. I'm not sure if you'd call it a pledge class, but all the
Yeah.
active members of that local fraternity became Sigma Chi brothers.
Yeah, there's a phrase for that.
We just had our 50th anniversary, and some of those original brothers were at the meeting, but I don't recall them having
I
they
think it was
like
Sigma Chi is what our chapter was. Our Eta Pi chapter was the Sigma Chi. There's a word for that, and I know
okay.
Melnick and the rest of the guys were screaming at
It's a
their
Sigma
phones right
Chi
now.
term or
It's a fraternal terminology. Hold on a second,
I'll take
Alexa.
care of it. Okay.
What do you call a fraternity prior to its official and not official? Shit. What do I ask this lady?
Before it's chartered, a fraternity is called a colony, also known as a provisional or associate chapter.
Yeah, she's reading my mind. A colony. So
Okay.
I think we were a colony first.
All right.
Okay. That was Alexa helping us out there, Hayden. Sometimes we call on her. She does great work.
It's all good.
She charges a monthly fee, but it's all right.
Yeah, and Woody, you had mentioned that you said every once in a while a couple of brothers from the original chapter will show up to alumni events.
Yeah.
On our house corporation board, we have members from our original chapter, Sigma
Wow.
Phi, still serving on that house corporation board.
Well, that's cool.
So
Yeah,
they would have been, say, 20 years old in
Were they like 90
1949.
now?
do the math. Yes,
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive. Must be
yes,
some good air in Peoria, man.
So that corn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll come back to that because the end of this conversation is about your alumni and why you were chosen to be Life Loyal Sig in the list. But real quick, we've identified the chapter house. You're located at 1408 West Fredonia. Is that Fredonia?
Fredonia, yes.
Fredonia. And tell us about this museum. In the fun facts, we found out there's a chapter maintains an official private historical museum. What does that look like?
Yeah, so on our campus's library, they have a large selection what they call like private, get the exact name of it, but they're private collections of certain artifacts, whether that be from Greek organizations or just older organizations that have been kind of weeded out. But yeah, our chapters maintained artifacts belonging to our colony chapter and this chapter, Sigma Chi. A lot of them include newspaper articles, small trophies, and other things, but it's a private collection that active members and alumni, and along with some historians, have reserved access to.
And it's on campus in your campus library.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. Um, what do you got? I got a couple more questions. We want to get to the alumni kind of questioning we do, but do you have something you want to go on, Woody?
Well, apparently, maybe I did some research on the older fraternity house because there was also another story of some secret tunnels from the fraternity house over to campus. I assume that's still not a rumor today.
No, well, our original campus house is actually where our new recreational building is.
For the whole campus, right?
Yeah, so it was right off of campus. It was right behind one of a main like academic building. So I mean, the tunnels would kind of seem kind of redundant if that was the
Yeah.
case.
Well, apparently it was like old coal chutes or something like that.
Uh,
But people were spreading rumor that they could get to class sooner or out of the rain or something like that. So I'll have to do better research next time.
mhm.
All right, cool. All right, so what's going on? Have you guys got a? I notice you have a pro consul. He's pretty excited about his job. His name escapes me, but he might be how I reached out to you via Instagram. I think I slid up in your DM or something and got a hold of somebody.
Look at you getting
But
all.
so your pro consul's what's his name? Let's give him a shout out.
You had reached out to Hunter Sefcik. He was a pro consul, I believe, 2 years ago. He now runs our social media page.
Okay.
But our current pro consul, his name's Matt Wegner.
Okay, so Hunter might have been the guy. So a shout out to him. Thank you for helping us get connected. The other thing is, what's going on for Rush? Have you got a good Rush chairman put together? What are you guys thinking when does Rush start? Has it started? What's happening?
Yeah, so I mean, we're lucky enough that a couple of our freshmen that are now pledged and now active members, they have a couple younger brothers, another younger cousins that are freshmen going into their first year at Bradley. So that kind of gives us kind of the upper hand because they can meet other friends and whatnot and kind of help rush into Sigma Chi. But the formal rush won't start until the end of August, and we hand out bids September 6th. So we formal rush kind of has a later start, but as far as on campus rush, kind of it's right kick. It starts right whenever freshmen move in. Our campus allows, or at least heavily encourages, Greek organizations to help move the freshmen in, kind of unload the cards and help move all the freshmen in because that happens all on one day. It gives a great opportunity to meet those freshmen face to face.
Drop them a
Okay,
business card, that kind of thing.
get
Pretty
some
much.
letters on. Yeah. And how many people, how many brothers can you house at the house?
So our chapter house is able to, it's got 32 beds.
Okay. And
Yep.
then about how many actives in your chapter that are going on?
At the end of spring, we had 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking for maybe
So
20
it's two
to
to
30.
Yeah, two to a bed. That's what that accounts for.
Yeah. Pretty close knit, close group of brothers.
Yeah, I say so.
Woody, you're not supposed to talk about that.
Oh, that's right. That's secret.
We're gonna have to cut that out. Anyway. Um, yeah, they can't be pledges, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, the the pledge class you're looking for maybe 20 to 30 guys, or is it, what's your hopes?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right on. We're shooting for around 20 to 40 guys. We have an extensive contact list that, yeah, our recruitment chairman, he's been working hard. He's got like a smaller committee of young guys, freshmen going into sophomore year to kind of help and do the younger guys to kind of make contact and bring guys on over.
Some networking. Okay, cool. All right. So to this Life Well Sick, tell us about, you've kind of shared a little bit about your alumni, especially those guys from the original chapter
Yeah.
that are involved in House Corps. But you know, you as a pledge at one point, and as a brother, I'm sure you had to go through the pledge interview with a brother, and you get that pivotal question like, what do you think about, what does it mean to be a lifetime sig, a lifetime commitment? What is brotherhood? And it's really kind of hard to capsulate in those first couple years together. But what do you attribute that's happening at your chapter that would inspire people to want to remain active alumni? What's going on at Bradley University in Delta? Is it Delta Row? I messed that up.
Yes,
Yeah.
you got it right.
Yeah, what's going on at Delta Row that people want to stay involved and be active as alumni?
So, from what I've heard from the alumni, because I've gotten a chance to talk to a lot of them, is honestly just their experience at Bradley. Bradley's a smaller private institution. Our undergrad population sits around about 6 to 8,000. So I mean, it's a pretty small school, and they really harp on their great experiences during their undergrads. Greek life, even for this school being fairly small, Greek life is very large. There's 14 fraternities and I think 9 sororities, just part of IFC. And yeah, Greek life is really a main sticking point on Bradley's campus.
Okay, so we've heard that story before where the guys reflect on their days at chapter house and those relationships that helped them in business and so forth, and they want to keep that alive. I've got my last question that I've kind of coined. Woody, do you have another question before I go there?
No, feel free. I just have two closing comments.
Okay, so I'll make this my last question. I'll let Woody wrap up with you. So, living in the world, here we are on a podcast using a digital platform that we're going to broadcast to YouTube. And oh, by the way, if you're listening and watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And Hayden, we'll send you an email with the link to this show, both the YouTube and the Spotify. And all we're asking is that you share it with your brothers and make sure that they subscribe to YouTube
Yeah.
and listen.
As consul, you have that power.
or else.
Yeah. Brothers
Uh,
helping out brothers. Yeah.
Right.
There you go. But my question is, living in this space we are with social media, is there, I want to make sure I ask it two ways. Is there a speak that happens now as a consul in your leadership role to actives and or pledges? Do you talk about the perils of social media? And I want to make sure that I couch this the right way. I'm not saying, hey, listen, let's go out and do heinous, stupid stuff. Just don't post it. I'm hoping that there's a conversation, the ideals and the things that we aspire to be as Sigma Chi's. But is that a space that you guys are talking about with new guys and ongoing conversations in social media and so forth?
Absolutely. It's really ingrained during the pledging process. That's definitely conversations we have with our pledges after, they've obviously pledged Sigma Chi. It's to kind of bring them to earth a little bit, real kind of make sure that they understand that they're becoming something larger than just a freshman on a campus. We kind of make it a big deal that they're joining they're pledging a lifelong, like they're pledging for a lifelong duration, and they're becoming something larger than that what they are, and they kind of have to understand that you got to be respectful. You always have to be mindful, uh, especially with how Greek life is perceived from the outside. There's always kind of a negative stigma, so don't give them objects to point out and get you in trouble for. Be mindful.
Yeah, the stain of dishonor. We talked about it a lot when we were in, and you can imagine how that affects. The challenge is, and I'm coming out of a educational role in the last year with some younger kids and middle school kids. The challenge, though, is how do we bring up the next generation to be mindful of actions have consequences. And your comment about the Latin phrase.
Yeah, if I could have remembered that Latin phrase, I would have already quoted it, Dave.
Yeah, facta non verba. Thank you. It's in my notes. Facta non verba.
Yeah.
It's better than the Latin phrase that I remembered from 4 years of Latin, which will save you for that. But anyway, the deeds, not words. And so I appreciate that. And I think I want to encourage you to keep doing that. And like I said, it's not about, hey, look, we're fraternity brothers. Let's go out and do heinous acts. Just don't post it.
Yeah.
It's about living the ideals of Sigma Chi and being responsible young men and putting on an image that best represents everybody. Okay, that's all I got. What do you had?
Well, I was going to say, before we let this young man get back on the road and drive safely back home, since he's locked out of the fraternity house, just a little fun fact. Did you know Bradley University got its name? It's an homage to Bradley Page, who was an American film actor in the early 1900s. Some movies like Sporting Blood and X Marks the Spot and films of that nature. Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of that. I am fairly certain that unfortunately that where you got that information from is incorrect. We have a statue of this lady named Lydia Moss Bradley, who founded this college. This college originally used to be a watchmaking college, because apparently that was a skill that you had to teach back then.
It still is a skill. I forget the name of that. If we'll look it up with Alexa in a little bit here. She's going to wake up now, Dave. Sorry. No, I was just having fun with that. And as always, I wouldn't be a good alumni if I didn't remind you to pay your dues.
Yep.
So
stay current.
I'll leave that for the queister.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Do you have any parting words for us, Hayden? Sometimes consuls give us words of wisdom, but do you want to share anything with us before we part ways? Kind of put you on the spot.
Not much. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to be on this podcast and share a little bit from our chapter.
Okay. And we've treated you fairly and respectfully. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, you guys have been great alumni and haven't given me anything to report to headquarters.
I appreciate that.
That's good. We got enough on our plate. We'll talk about that some other time.
A phone call from headquarters.
All right. So we're going to let this fine young man get back on the road to Springfield. It's a hell of a town.
Say hey to Homer.
where he can rest up and then hopefully pay the electric bill and come back with a key that works over at
That
the
sounds
chapter house. But we wish you success, great success in your career as you move forward. But the time you have left with Sigma Chi over at Bradley, we want you to have a great, successful, and we'll keep an eye on you. Maybe we'll reconnect over time and see how things are going.
Sounds
In
good,
the meantime, Hayden, this is where we'll say goodbye. You'll part ways, and Woody and I will finish up the big show and wrap this thing up here shortly. Pleasure
all
meeting
right.
you.
Yeah, no,
All
it's
right.
been an honor. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, guard well, brother. We'll talk to you
Yep.
maybe soon.
Yep. Take care.
Thanks.
All right, did all the heavy lifting there.
I'm always amazed at how well these kids are, just in their 20s, I guess, 19, 20 years old, we'll say, depending on, whatever. And they're so well spoken compared to what I would have been capable of at that age, to be able to carry on a conversation of that level with two old guys asking a question. So very impressed.
Maybe you just didn't have the opportunity, or maybe you were better at it than you think. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, it's colony class or founding fathers class is the two terms.
Is the pre-chapter to the chapter?
Yes, the initial members coming in.
Yeah, I think colony is the word that I'm hung up
that
on.
you're familiar with.
Yeah, I think we were a Sigma Chi colony chapter, but it doesn't matter.
Very good.
So, I don't know if you were aware of this, but there are two. Do you have something to get us to the next 10 minutes? I got a couple things.
Well, are yours timely? Like, do we need to get to them this week, or?
Well, I was just going to get. We've done this marketing campaign where I'm trying to recognize some national days. The fun ones.
Well,
go ahead.
So we mentioned earlier that I had to travel this past weekend, so I made my way out to the San Diego area, Carlsbad, California, to be specific, where we finally, if those longtime listeners of the show, we finally were able to hold a funeral for my mother and her husband, who had passed 6 months after her. We were going to do it sooner, but then he passed, so we had a combined funeral. Both families got together out in Carlsbad where they were interned, and it's, I hate saying, it sounds bad, but it's not. We had a good time. I mean, it was the result of it. Yes, we shared some sadness and so forth and so on, but we were able to share a 2-day weekend with each other that we hadn't done in years, both sides of the family. And the second day, we took in a horse racing, a day at the track, if you will, at the Del Mar Raceway, which, it's just north of San Diego, about halfway to Carlsbad. It's right on the ocean. So we were in the shade, and it was a cool ocean breeze. It was like a 78-degree day with an ocean breeze blowing across the track. And my I guess, what would she be? My stepsister, I guess, his boyfriend is involved in the horsing world, not at Del Mar, but in other parts of the country. And so she and him hosted us at the track that day. And I hadn't been to the track in 30 years. The last time I had been, my father was famous for saying, saying, I'm going to take the kids out for a while, and we'd end up at the horse track so he could gamble with me, my friend.
Drinking Schlitz and playing the ponies.
Yes. And me and my brother would. Now, he wasn't a delinquent father by any means, but it was just, it's okay, win-win. My mom got rid of us for a couple hours, and he got horse tracks in general are huge complexes that are, the playgrounds and stuff out of it, and that. And he was famous for giving us $10 each, and he would make the bets for us, but we could pick the bets, and he'd split whatever we won over the initial investment. I don't think that ever occurred once in my time.
He was teaching you some valuable lessons. So did you bet the ponies while you were there?
I did, and I lost. I was just making small $2 bets, right, to win, though. I wasn't going to do show or anything like that. And I think I lost 2 or 3, and then I walked up to the window, and all I had was a 5. Still had to use cash, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I gave her a 5, and I said, yeah, I'll take 8 to win in the 8th. I think it was actually the call. And she gives me the ticket back. And I'm like, oh, I meant a $2 bet. And she goes, oh, I can erase that. And I'm like, never mind.
Let it ride.
What's $5? What's $3 more? I'm like, never mind. And I won that race. So I paid out like on a $5, it paid out like 31 something dollars or something like that. I forget what it was. It was
Well, you
pretty
made
good
your money back. That's
yeah, I
cool.
did. I did. And so I walked out there at the end of the day with 21 extra dollars.
A winner chicken
man.
dinner.
Yeah. So all in all, and we went to the zoo where we were there as well, the famous San Diego Zoo. So I got to spend 3 solid days in and around the area, and enjoyed them all, albeit, the ceremony itself. But that was, in sense, I think it was very healthy, right? To kind of put that chapter behind us and move on. So that's where I was, should anybody care. And if any of my family are listening that's our McKinleyville crew.
Yeah.
California, McKinleyville.
We're always appreciative of them showing up on the listener charts. Thank you out there in California.
Right.
Carrying the heavy lifting for us on the West Coast. And by the way, I checked the stats this week. We are in 26 states, Woody, and 18 countries. So on the listener side, Woody's not as happy with us on the YouTube side. By the way, we're listening this far. We haven't promoted it, but please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. By the way, we're at 54 subscribers. I checked and counting. So we're not really killing it there. But again, we're in, as far as the audio file, which we can make the argument which one sets up better.
I'll tell you, we have much more views than we have subscribers on YouTube. So I just know there's a lot of people not subscribing. It's
definitely picking up. It's definitely picking up, but it's a timing thing. 150 episodes, 26 states, 18 countries. And I wanted to give some props to the guys because this whole idea about the summer tour was to generate some interest. And in the last 30 days, the top 5 shows listened to, number 1 goes out to the Eta Iota guys over at Embry-Riddle University of Daytona Beach. That's the number 1 episode in the last 30 days. The second number episode is the 8 Founders, which is the Constantine inductees that we did last week. It comes in at second place, but 2 weeks ago, episode number 149. Episode number 148 is our third in contest. That's Theta Eta. That's Missouri S&T interview with their consul. And then the number 4 of the top 5 is Delta Delta from Purdue. It's episode 146. Episode 145 rounds out the top 5. And that's not part of our summer tour, but I think it's the announcement of our summer tour. And that was titled Brothers, Bourbon, and Baby Deer.
There you go. So Hayden, we're putting out a challenge to you. You may be 5th on the the Life Loyal SIG list, but you could be 1st on the Dave and Woody podcast.
Yeah. So tell your brothers, all 40, whatever they are,
60,
to get on it, to put those cell phones to use and start doing some good.
Yeah. You can't. We do not prescribe to hazing it in any shape, way, fashion, or form. But it'd be nice to maybe make the pledges listen every once in a while.
Well, makes a big word, but we could ask them gingerly.
Yes, and we can verify it for you if you need to.
Yeah.
So based on our login. Anyhow,
right, I think we're up against the clock.
Yeah, we are. I was going to warn you. And so what I thought we would let everybody know the next episode that if we can't get our Tulsa person, we will kind of go back to a normal show next week in lieu of maybe we'll do a crossword, Dave. We haven't done one in a long time.
Well, that's a good programming note for the folks listening.
Right.
I'm going to do my best to get Tulsa, and so far we've had some pretty good results. So I really want to close this summer tour because it'd be kind of silly to pull off the side of the road and bury this thing, but I want to get Tulsa next week. And that'll be the top 5 chapters that have Life Loyal SIG memberships. And then, as Woody said, we're going to get back to some of our regular scheduled programming. We do have some segments that Woody and I have been working on the side that we want to be somewhat consistent with. Some of the fan favorites, by the way, people have been, they're asking for it. So all we can do is deliver, right, Woody?
Right. All 13 people that commented asked for the same thing.
So let me give a shout out. Speaking of Sigma Chi, I'm going to be Friday. This show episode is being taped, what is it, Wednesday the 22nd. We don't mind telling you that.
Yeah.
But this Friday, I'll be in Orlando at the old Orlando Country Club, and we're going to meet at 11:30 for lunch, the Blue and Gold luncheon, where we're going to
near
celebrate.
Downtown. I'm sorry.
It's right there at 50 and 50
Yeah.
and SOBT, South Orange Blossom Trail, 441. Back in that northwest quadrant of.
Yes, I played there.
Yeah, it's the old club. The old.
I made a deal with the general manager of the company I worked for at the time. If I came down and substituted for his manager at the time, the technical manager for a week, he would take me out for a round.
You could have hit a ball right on to 441 from there too. Probably.
A good chance. Well, not this guy's swing, but yeah, I get your point.
So we're going to celebrate Alan Fidello and Tim Melnick, Ada Pi, recent Order of Constantine inductees, and that's going to be the luncheon that we bring them up and pay homage to that. So Sheila and I are going to get away for the weekend. I won't give the details because she doesn't want me to do that, but we're going to take an extended weekend while we're down there. And
can we get the deets when you get back?
Oh yeah, we'll get the deets.
Oh, okay.
No doubt. I'll probably elaborate a couple things, but who cares? All right. On that note, we should probably wrap this thing up, right, Woody?
Yes, we should. We're right at the top of the 45.
Okay. All right, guys. Another fine episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, and this has been the Dave and Woody Summer Tour, one chapter at a time, and we will see you next time. As soon as I can find the button,
Dave tries to talk and move the mouse. It's impossible.
Well, it's very difficult to multitask.
He searches for it.
All right, I got it. Peace out. See ya.